You're listening to Stu's Wrestling Podcast, established 2019. Direct from the North Wales coast, his verbal skills definitely outweigh his wrestling ability. It's time for British Wrestling's sharpshooter, your host, Stu Palmer.
Hello and a warm welcome to episode 23 of Stu's Wrestling Podcast. My guest at this time is none other than Jack Griffiths. He's the first ever Alpha Gen champion at Britannia Wrestling Promotions and is one of the most highly rated young talents on the UK scene. He has also been trained by World of Sport legend and British wrestling pioneer, a 7-time world champion, Marty Jones. How's it going, Jack Griffiths?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Finally got it done, mate. It took a fair few months, but we're here now, aren't we? So, yeah, looking forward to getting to know about you and your career so far. Jack, when were you first exposed to pro wrestling?
Probably when I was a young kid, to be fair. Every kid, don't they? They just when you grow up, at some point you'll see wrestling on the TV or you see it advertised somewhere. I think I started watching it when I was about 4, maybe, WWE. And I think when I started watching it, it was the likes of John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, them sort of guys that are on TV every week. And it just went from there, really.
You know, you stated some talents there. Which talents did you gravitate to as a youngster?
For me, it was John Cena, I'd say. He's just like, he's just captivating money for a kid at that age. He was easy to follow and he was easy to like at the time. As I got older, I started to like different superstars, because obviously you get a bit more whereabouts of what wrestling actually is, and then you get a bit more of a taste for the other guys. I started liking Shawn Michaels a lot more as I got older, but I'd say John Cena is probably the one that I stuck with like throughout growing up with wrestling.
Which styles of wrestling did you like watching then, just to, expand on it a little bit?
Do you know what? I liked watching most guys. I'll tell you who makes me laugh. The Miz, he made me laugh when I was growing up, because he was that baddie that he always seemed to just make you laugh with whatever he was doing. And then eventually, like that time, it must have been about 10 years ago when he became champion. I must have been about 8 and I was fuming. Because you don't get it, do you? And then now when you watch him, and he's you realise actually how good he is and how well he's done with his career. It's oh yeah, fair play. Quite enjoyed watching him when I was young.
Comes in for a lot of criticism, unfairly, I think.
I think he's brilliant, I do.
He's superb. He can do everything. That's the key, isn't he? He's multifaceted, amazing on the mic. He's been able to hold his own on the mic. I think it's unjust when people start on him. And then, obviously, when I've been to the States to watch it, I've seen him live. He's incredible.
As you're saying, obviously, as you get older, and obviously being a part of wrestling yourself now, obviously you appreciate that sort of work from when you watch back all the tapes when you're younger. I like watching a lot of World of Sport stuff as well, old World of Sport stuff. And there's hardly any promo work in that. A lot of their promo work is actually in match, isn't it? Or just before they're about to wrestle. Whereas today, a lot of the show, especially on TV, you'll have a segment of just a whole promo, won't you?
That's it.
It's completely different now.
One match that stands out in World of Sport, I remember Regal. I think Regal had been on a podcast, and it was Terry Rudge versus Marty Jones. That was one of his favourite matches, he was saying. Yeah.
If you ever get the chance, go on YouTube and type in Marty Jones versus Digger Nolan.
Yeah.
And fast forward it right to the end, the final move, and look at the drop kick that Marty gives him. It's the best thing you'll ever see. It completely takes his head off. It's quality.
Were there any specific match types you like to see?
In today's wrestling,
more so when you were first watching it, and obviously growing up watching it,
When I was a kid, to be fair, I was pretty much happy to just be watching it. I'd say I enjoyed the Extreme Rules sort of matches when I was younger, because they're quite entertaining, aren't they? Because you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know who's going to go through what. Or I'd say they were quite entertaining. But then obviously they were left for the pay-per-views and stuff, weren't they? Which was a bit better in a way, because there's had more of a build-up to it.
When did you begin training, Jack, just to come away from... I want to, obviously, talk about your origins coming into the business.
I began training, I was 17, so about 4 or 5 years ago. And I started training with Basics Wrestling in Connors Key. I spent about 2.5 years with them, and then that's when I moved over to Marty Jones then. I was quite lucky with finding Basics because they were quite local. And obviously I didn't drive at the time, and I was able to get the train to their school and stuff. So it was only about a half an hour train journey, whereas like when I go to train now, it's like an hour and a half in the car.
Where is that with Marty Jones, yeah?
Yeah, when I go to train with Marty, yeah. I sometimes train with Sam Bailey and Chris Sharp as well at the Future Shock School.
Are the classes different? Are you learning all different styles across the two training schools?
Because like the beauty of being taught by the likes of Chris Sharp is he's obviously a WWE referee. He's probably the top referee. Well, he should be because he's class. And like his knowledge that he offers you, even if you're just going through the simple things, and like just if you talk to him, he opens up your mind onto different scenarios or different ways you can take stuff, which is really good. And then when you train with Marty, you get like a lot of the technical psychology aspects of wrestling from it. And then obviously when you can put the two together, that's what helps you grow then, isn't it? And that's what makes you 10 times better when you put your matches on. So
you're like a sponge almost, aren't you, across the schools?
Yeah.
When did your first match occur then, off the back of training?
Do you know what? Because it's different like today, because you see all these guys and they come into training schools, and within like 4 or 5 months they're on a show. But it was like completely different with me, because like where I trained, the guy that trained me, Mike Roberts, he's proper old school, and he sort of like got brought up through the old school method, and it was sort of like you come to the shows, you help out, for months on end, and then you referee, so you learn the referee side of it. So then you like sort of first front row, aren't you, when you're refereeing? So you get to see everything, what's going on. You also get to learn like that side of it as well. And then it must have been about 2 years after I started training before I had my first match. So I'd say probably about 3 years ago, maybe, I had my first match. So what was 2020 now? So maybe like 2017.
Do you think some guys are rushed into it then? You're saying about the time frame you had. That's very much like an old school timeline, isn't it? Training. Do you think they? Yeah. Do you think they rush these lads?
Yeah, like personally, I think everyone should go through the development stage that I went through, because like a lot of like lads coming through now and girls, like they just they go to like say a decent school, and then they put on a decent show within like 6-7 months, if they're doing well, and then they're like on the indie scene then already. Do you know what I mean? Like they haven't done anything to completely understand the business or like its background or like the other side, what goes into the show before the show's put on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I was lucky, I got to see everything that goes into putting on a show. Like all the other aspects, putting up a ring, how to set up a ring, being taught how to referee, watching the guys that are in, and then going back to training and then practicing with them and talking with them. Obviously, all the travelling aspects. I see a lot of people, they don't get that chance to do the travelling side of it, especially if you're doing like tours and stuff and like a lot of camp shows. Like the travelling on, it's ridiculous, especially when you're staying with a team, when you're staying in a caravan suitable for 3 people and there's like 7 of you, and you're all in the same caravan. I feel like, because that's the old days, and that's why I get on well with Marty, and I like that's why I went over to Marty in the first place, because that would have been what it was like back in the day. You'd have all been in teams, and you'd have all been staying together. You'd have lived together for small periods of the year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like and they're the only people you would have worked with. And I feel like a lot of people coming through now haven't been given that, and I feel like everyone should. I know it's hard because like spaces are hard to get and stuff, but like if that opportunity comes up, I feel like that's the way people should be brought into the business, not like, you just go to a training school like, Future Shock or, a Rev Pro or something like that, and then you're just on their show straight away, like within like a year. You can do any move, you know, from training within a year, but like actually understanding wrestling. Do you know what I mean? Like you'll get some people and they'll come in and like there'll be a proper family show, for example, and all they want to see is just like they want to be entertained and they want to be engaged with. And, you know, like people will come in from like a year's like training a year, and they'll put on like a 5-star match which you'd expect in the main event of WrestleMania for like 30, 40 family and mums and dads, and that's not what they want to see. Whereas if you get to come up through like doing the camps and stuff, you know, you'll learn that, oh, this isn't the time and place for that sort of match, and you can put on a different style of match, which I think, you know, a lot of people that they could do with that opportunity to learn that difference. I mean, that's it, innit? Like, I understand it's sort of changing now, and like wrestling's getting really athletic, like really, like I love Will Ospreay and he's like my big idol. He does some amazing stuff, but like everyone's trying to do his stuff now, but like they'll do it at times where it's not necessary, if you know what I mean. So like, you know, like when I'm having my matches now, if something's not worth, you know, you plan your match for where you are, you know, what type of audience you've got, and like I plan around that now. I plan around the bigger picture. Whereas like, you know, there's no point doing like 24 somersaults for a family of say 25. You know, they just want to be, you know, engaged with. What's the point? You might as well rest. You know, like keep your bumps, innit?
Which wrestling training camps have you been to, Jack? Obviously, you've said about, you know, people you've
training.
Yeah. Just to extend on that, your training camps, because when I get the younger lads on, it's been my fault actually. I've not asked about the camps, and we've realised afterwards that we needed to speak about them. So yeah, just like where you were training and your experience in the camp.
So I started with basics wrestling, and that was for about 2.5 years. I was with them, just them, and then I went to the Squared Circle with Marty Jones. And then I tried to get down to Fighting Spirit a couple of times, but with my work, it was hard to commit to the days they were training. Whereas, like, when I was with Marty, it was easier to get there on a Wednesday and a Saturday. Whereas the Fighting Spirit ended up training on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And it was just harder to get there through work because it's hard to predict what time I'll finish in that. And then, obviously, you've got to get to Liverpool. And then I try to now get down to Future Shock as much as I can. They train on Mondays, Wednesdays and Saturdays, so they got a better range as well.
That's the beauty of it now, though, isn't it? Though you got, obviously, there's so many places you can go, especially, you know, it's only like, how far is Liverpool from you? 45 minutes?
Yeah, like, either way, if I'm going to train now, either way, you're looking at a minimum of an hour and 10 minutes to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Which I'm not bothered about because I don't mind travelling, and it just gives me something to look forward to whilst I'm in the car and that. And obviously, if you're car sharing with people, you can have a good chat and stuff. But, you know, you're looking at a very minimum of an hour to get to somewhere. But it's worth it in the end, like.
What would be your advice for a person who wanted to start, you know, getting into the business and start training? What advice could you give them? My advice would be find a decent school that's local to, like as local to you to start off with, and then I'd say work your way up and expand. So like, if you're living in the Manchester area, there must be about 5 schools there now. So I'd say if you can't drive, I'd say just go to the one that's easiest to get to, and then I'd say just build your fundamentals from there, and then you can look at, because that's the big thing. It's transport, isn't it? It was hard for me when I started. I had to get the train everywhere for years. And, you know, getting the trains, you know, if they get cancelled or something goes wrong, and you say, half an hour on a train away from home, well, walking or bus-wise, that could be like 2 hours. So I know transport's quite a big thing. I'd also say if anyone can, like, drive or you can get in a car with someone, I'd definitely recommend trying to sort that out. Because it just makes life so much easier when you can get a car there. Jack, how did your Alpha Gen experience begin? How did that come to fruition?
I I met Dylan Roberts at a show, and he's like probably the main guy through Britannia, I'd say. He probably has been for a couple of years now. And it turns out I only live about quarter of an hour away from Dylan. So as the opportunity came up for me, but Dylan needed someone to wrestle a show for Britannia like 2 years. I think it was like 2 years ago. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. And Dylan put me forward. And luckily I impressed Steve and I think Sam's the other promoter, yeah. And luckily I impressed Steve and Sam. And then they invited me back the following year. And then I just had a run up of matches then up until that Alpha Gen tournament, which was last July or June. And I wrestled in a gauntlet match 1 month. And then I wrestled Matt Fox the month after that. And then I wrestled Chase Alexander the month after that. And then we did the tournament, and luckily I won that. So really, it all happened quite quick. Because after I wrestled Dylan a couple of years ago, I never actually went back there for about 6 months. And then luckily, I just got block booked. And then on the lead up to the tournament then, and then I ended up winning it.
How far back did you know you were winning the tournament?
I found out on the day.
What was your reaction?
I was quite pleased because my parents had come to watch me that day, so it was a nice relief for them to be able to see me win. And also one of my close friends came to see me as well, so I was able to have a photo with him after the show and that with a trophy, because that was quite nice. But yeah, it was a good feeling, because it, like when you win a tournament or a trophy or whatever, you get that feeling that someone's put faith in you, someone believes in you. Do you know what I mean? Like people are behind you. It's quite a nice feeling, that.
Have you managed to face everyone in the Alpha Gen who's in it, or have you got there's still people you yet to face?
No. Right. I've wrestled Dylan in probably the best match of my career so far after the Alpha Gen tournament, and we ended up having like this 30-minute match. And then after that, I ended up getting caught in a feud with Toby Matthews. And I must have wrestled Dougie I wrestled Dougie for about 7 months. I've had about 4 matches with him, I reckon.
I did manage to see all that online, and obviously Dougie has been on previously, and yes, I had seen all this online, the feud.
Did you tell you I beat him in 5 seconds?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I had seen that, mate. To be fair. Oh.
So yeah, that happened. And then we had a match in January just been.
Yeah.
In the Rumble, in which the referee was distracted twice, which when I had him tapped out twice during that match. And then literally about a minute after I'd had him tapped out for the second time, he caught me in something and then he ended up passing me out. And then literally I woke up about maybe 30 seconds after that and Chase had cashed in on him.
I couldn't believe it when I saw all this, that he'd cashed in on him straight away. He's probably the most unluckiest guy on the North Wales coast, Dougie, isn't he?
I was like, well, that's what happens, isn't it, Dougie? If he'd have done his swimming lessons, maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Oh, my days. I like it when Mike Angus announces him. Hilarious.
He's just got such a long spear, isn't he?
It's just that he's come from the Sun Centre. That's the best bit. Oh.
The Kellogg's Prom Swimming Award Ambassador.
Oh, my days.
We had a point during one of our matches, and there was all these inflatable armbands around the ring. I think it was a match when I beat him in 5 seconds, and we must have been stood there for about 10 minutes before the whistle went. And I was like trying to teach him how to swim, and we tried to put the armbands on him, and he kept throwing them out the ring. So I was going back out and getting them, and I was like, "Come on, Dougie, they'll help you. They'll keep you afloat." But he weren't having it.
It's good to have a bit of comedy in wrestling as well.
Yeah, you got to have a laugh. Yeah, because how I see it is, if the crowd see you're enjoying yourself, then the likelihood is they're going to enjoy it just as much.
That's it, man. That's it. Who in the current wrestling product do you like watching? I know you said about Will Ospreay and you look up to him. Who else?
There's quite a lot of people.
Fire away, Jack. Fire away.
I tell you who I like watching just because I get on well with them, and they're like my age. I like watching the young guns for tag stuff. I think they're doing really well at the moment. I like watching the matches they put on. I like watching Sonna Durson. I think he's really good, technically and athletically as well. I think he's really good to watch. Down south, I like watching the OJMO. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah, have done. Yeah, I've seen some bits and bobs actually. To be fair,
he's good to watch, especially for heel stuff. He's quite funny. I enjoy watching him. Because I like watch various wrestling, and I try and watch as much as I can of New Japan and as much as Will Ospreay's matches as I can. I like watching NXT. I think Adam Cole's brilliant. I think obviously Pete Dunne's amazing as well. Them sort of guys I like watching. In regards to NXT UK, I like Jordan Devlin. I think he's really good. And is it A-Kid and Tyler Bate? They're brilliant, they are. That's the other guy I like watching, Tyler Bate. I'd say him and Will Ospreay are probably my two guys at the moment that I'm enjoying the most when I watch them. But there's loads of people that I could say that I enjoy watching. Because a lot of people now, especially at the top, they're offering something different to everyone else. So it's good to have a variety of people you enjoy. Because again, Zack Sabre Jr., he's completely different, and I love watching his matches.
He's very old school, isn't he?
Yeah.
The style.
Or Steve Gray or someone like that.
What about tag wrestling, Jack? Who any standouts for you in the tag divisions across the world?
Grizzled Young Veterans are pretty good. I'd say they're probably one of the best tag teams at the moment. But no, to be fair, in regards to tag wrestling, I enjoy quite a lot of the matches I watch. I tell you what, funny, the Street Profits on NXT.
Brilliant. They're so good. Because they're different. They remind me a little bit of Crime Time, but they've still got their own. They've got their own
twist.
Persona, and they're still original. I mean, they've moved the belts around a little bit. I think too much. I think the Viking Raiders should still be champs, really.
Are they on the main show now? Are they?
Viking Raiders.
No, Street Profits.
Yeah, they're on Raw.
Yeah, I don't really watch the main show.
They did a lot of to build them up. They were backstage doing vignettes on Raw, before they went in the ring.
Right.
So they did that. They did that for weeks and weeks and weeks. They were just cutting promos in the back. That's how they brought them in from NXT.
Fair enough.
So, but yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. They're really, really good. Which talents on the world scene would you like to get in the squared circle with? Obviously, you've said about people you like. Who would you like to get in there? Who'd whet your appetite in the squared circle?
I'd love him. He's not wrestling anymore, but I'd love the match with the original Kid Lycos, because he started out where I did, and it'd be nice to have had a match with someone who's done so well on the scene from where I've also come from, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And probably the same with Drew Parker as well. He started where I did, but he's a different sort of wrestler now. He's like a deathmatch wrestler, isn't he?
He's been in Japan and everything, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's doing really, really well.
Superb.
Them two, in other circumstances, I'd love to have had a match with. I know everyone will say it, but I'd love to have a match with Will Ospreay. In regards to the scene at the moment that's likely for me to have a match with, I'd probably love to have a match with Joe Nelson. I feel like our styles would go really well together. Dean Allmark, I'd love to have a match with Dean Allmark. I've been quite lucky. I've been able to wrestle like Joey Hayes and CJ Banks, so them two would have been on my list. But I've been lucky enough that I've been able to wrestle them already. I tell you, I'd like to have a match with OJMO. I think we'd have a really good match. But it's hard because you can say you'd want to wrestle, but the chances of it happening, unless you get that lucky break or something, it's not going to happen. So you sort of just take it as it comes. You know what I mean?
I get you. Yeah, you've done. I tell you what I'll take away from this interview, Jack. You've done a hell of a lot in a short space of time, haven't you?
Yeah.
In relation to all the places you've gone to train, who you've obviously wrestled, so you've done a hell of a lot in a short time period, to be fair.
I got quite a lot to talk about. It's just obviously it's quite time consuming, isn't it? I've got loads of story. I think me and Big Red are going to do a live soon where we just do a Q&A, because we've got loads of stories, me and him, and that'll be quite good. That'll probably take up a lot of me brain, a lot of me answers.
Would you like to plug some of your media, like your social media, for me, please?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Jack Griffiths PW. You can also find me on Facebook at Jack Griffiths Professional Wrestler. And you can also find me on Twitter at Jack Griffiths PW as well.
Nice. Jack Griffiths, thanks for coming on for episode 23 of Stu's Wrestling
Thanks
Podcast.
for having me.
Big thank you to 3210 for their track Sonar in the intro and the outro of today's show. Cheers, boys, for letting me use it.
Many thanks to Mike Angus for the show intro as usual, an absolute stellar job, and to my editor. Without Chris and Mike doing what they do, this show would not be happening. So yeah, thanks for your support as well, lads. It's top, it's brilliant, love it.